For this video, I have the 2024 Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid EV, and I think Mazda just made a very strong case for this to be considered alongside other premium and luxury branded SUVs, but there's just one, maybe two problems with it, and I'll tell you at the end of the video. This is a plug-in hybrid, so it has a short EV range of 26 miles and a 2.5-liter four-cylinder turbocharged engine. This top-trim CX-90 Premium Plus can be yours for under $60,000, and it's cheaper than the plug-in BMW X5 xDrive 50e and cheaper than the Volvo XC90 Recharge. It's a three-row SUV, so it comes in a 6, 7, and 8-seater configuration. It has a gorgeous interior that will have your passengers thinking that this is a legitimate luxury car. So it's a big car with big car presence and also elegant styling. It's also a big car that still abides by Mazda's handling roots and principles, and that's both a good and bad thing, which I'll talk about later. And let's begin this review with the outside. I like the soft curves of Mazda cars. Industry is going rectangular, hard-edged, boxy designs that are in your face and look aggressive. This Mazda CX-90 isn't like that, and I think that's why it stands out. This one has a more classic, luxurious design that's more similar to the look of Mercedes than it is to BMW or Audi. And I like the paint on this thing. This is called Rhodium White Premium. It's about $600, and Mazda has some really nice paint options that highlight the curves of this car. I normally would skip out on premium paints, but I think the softer, curvier designs of the CX-90 would really benefit from the metallic shade. I like all the LED lights hardware everywhere on the daytime running lights, the LED turn signals on the body colored mirrors, and also the tail lights look great as well. Very nice design and also premium looking. I love how both the B and C pillars are blacked out, giving this a singular window look. It adds a lot to that simple, elegant, and sophisticated design that's missing in three-row SUVs nowadays. The only thing I don't like is the amount of chrome everywhere. I'm not a chrome kind of person, so I'm hoping they'll have a Meridian or a carbon edition in the near future for the CX-90 to darken all of these features. Now they're doing that for the new CX-70, which is the same exact body as this, but it has the third row deleted. And you can see in that car just how gorgeous and sporty it looks without all that bright chrome. Now let's move into the interior, and there's more of that simple, elegant styling that you find on the outside. White Nappa leather interior. Now, I don't know how well this is going to age in the long run, but I'd be careful with it if you like to wear jeans, as the dyes can slowly transfer onto this very light colored leather. Compare this side and then the other side, and you can see quite a difference. I like how the dash design is very simple. Just like other newer Mazdas, they like to simplify the dash using these continuous, uninterrupted surfaces, and they used really nice soft touch materials here. It looks like a nicely upholstered leather couch. There's a good amount of metallic looking, it's not actually metal, trim pieces just surrounding the upholstered surfaces. And check out this vent. This looks very intricate, very complex looking, and it's a nice highlight to the rest of this Mazda CX-90 interior. There's heated steering wheel, also heated seats and ventilated seats as well. Very nice looking panels. Also on the door trim here, and the steering wheel has paddle shifters for the 8-speed automatic transmission. The armrest has a split design, so if you want to get in here, you don't have to bother your front occupant. And there's also two USB-Cs inside. Unfortunately, storage isn't that deep here. And if you look up front, here's where your cup holders are. In the second row, this is the captain's chairs configuration, and I like how it's heated, automatic climate control, and over here you have a sunshade. Jumping inside, there's plenty of room here. You have a flip-up cup holder that looks a bit low end, but up top you have this very big sunroof that looks pretty good. To get into the third row, you have a handle here, and you could easily push this forward. And getting inside, the third row, I hate to say it, but it's a little bit cramped back here. This is probably best reserved for small kids or small adults. But yeah, that's the downside of these three-row SUVs. It can be a little bit cramped back here. If you want a roomier third row, you should really check out the new Toyota Grand Highlander instead. Now, what kind of technology can you find in the CX-90? This is the Premium Plus version, so it comes with all of the bells and whistles. It starts with this 12.3-inch infotainment screen with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You'll notice here that this is not a touchscreen. All the controls have to be handled by this iDrive-like dial here. That's the case anytime you're using the native Mazda infotainment system, but when you're in wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto, this becomes a touchscreen. Not having a touchscreen is not a big deal breaker because this rotary dial is easy to use, and I like these shortcut buttons all around. You'll notice that the screen is also pushed further back and out of reach slightly, but I like that it's still within your field of view when you're driving, so you don't have to look far from the road to notice what's going on here. I like that this car comes with a 360-degree camera view, so with the push of a button, you could see all around you. It's very clear and crisp. Looking straight forward, there's another 12.3-inch digital screen. This digital instrument cluster looks great, and I think it brings it up to today's standards. And up top, there is a heads-up display that's fairly large too. As for the listening experience, this comes with a 12-speaker Bose surround sound system, and I think it's pretty awesome. Great sound quality for the price point of this car. And lastly, there's also a wireless charger in this car. Now let's begin with the driving experience, and let's start with the power. This has a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine and a 100 kilowatt electric motor, all together making 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. That's if you use premium fuel. You could still use regular fuel, but it'll slightly detune the engine, giving you a bit less power. 0 to 60 should be done in a little over 6 seconds. That's pretty good for a 3-row, 7-passenger SUV. You can get 26 miles all-electric range, which isn't class-leading, but really not bad at all. If you keep the battery topped up, it should give you 56 combined miles per gallon, but once your EV range is depleted, you should get 25 miles per gallon just on the internal combustion engine. The CX-90 PHEV has a smaller 17.8 kilowatt-hour battery, so it doesn't take long to charge it up to full. If you have a level 2 charger at home, you could fill it up in under 2 hours or 11 hours with a level 1 charger. As for the internal combustion engine, I love the longitudinal engine layout. It's like they stuck with the Miata principle and applied it to a 3-row SUV. Now, if you look past the silly big engine cover, you find that tiny 4-cylinder engine tucked away behind the front axle, and this is great because it more evenly distributes that heavy weight in between the front and the rear axles. So this is a rear axle biased all-wheel drive system, which is different than other Mazda SUVs. This will have a more rear-wheel drive nature, which I think is more fun, but it also provides a nice balance and torque distribution out of the all-wheel drive system. So you feel this balance when you drive the CX-90. The SUV just feels much more agile than most vehicles in this class. So if you prioritize the driving agility over anything else, you need to put the CX-90 on top of your shopping list because this is a great handling SUV. However, that agility comes at a price of stiffer and harsher suspension. You feel it at every bump, and it takes a bit away from the luxury vibe that this thing is going for. The steering effort is also higher than other SUVs. It feels like there's not much aid from the electronic power steering system compared to other cars. Now, while that gives the car a more sporty feel, a lighter steering effort, perhaps if it were a user modifiable feature within the different driving modes, that would have been very welcomed. Additionally, while the steering feels pretty fantastic on back roads or when the road changes directions, the steering feedback when on center or during straight highway drives doesn't feel very good. It feels vague and lacks good feedback. And perhaps that has something to do with the very recent recall on the steering titled "Sudden Increase in Steering Effort." This was just announced about 2 weeks before filming this, and I don't know if this specific car is affected. You can pause the video right here to check out the details of this recall. It'll also be linked in the description box below. Now, this is one of those issues with first-year models. This is the first year the CX-90 is available, so just like other models from other car companies, they tend to have a higher amount of recalls just because some elements of the design is new. I'm pretty confident that this issue will be resolved quickly, so it's not that big of a worry for me. But I have to judge the car as is right now, and currently it doesn't have a polished driving experience. So I'm a big fan of this Mazda CX-90 because it has beautiful styling, the interior is awesome, and also the driving dynamics is fun if you're a car enthusiast. If you're looking for a cushy, soft, magic carpet-like ride, then this isn't it. And also if you have issues with those steering issues that I had earlier, hopefully that's just a temporary thing, then I would not put this on top of your shopping list. Let's just hope that those recalls will fix the issue, but for the time being, I want to thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. If you've learned something from this video, please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and that notification bell so that you could be notified the next time I make a new video. Let's wrap it up right there. My name's Hanson, and this has been the 2024 Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid EV Premium Plus, and I'll see you in the next one.